Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Real Sports Updates here, back again with another video. So you see the title, you see the thumbnail. Let's get into it. So the Chargers were voted the number one trio, Chargers offense. Let me specify the number one trio in the NFL. So Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Austin Ekeler. They were voted the number one, and this is a I guess a poll done by CBS Sports. They rank the best triplets in the league every year from the offensive standpoint, and the Chargers were number one. Now, this is going to get a lot of scrutiny. You know, there's a lot of people. I've already seen some disagreement with it, and I've seen some valid points. Some people have some valid points to argue, but there are a lot of people who are just really out there and just kind of creating a narrative that the Chargers are being favored somehow or whatever because of whatever. I don't know. Those people can probably just be classified as haters. But this is a correct poll because if you look at everything, if you take everything into account, right, what they are ranking these triplets on is not who they think is the best or whatever, based off of production, right? What these triplets do, right? Based off of all the production, right? Your quarterback, your running back, and your wide receiver. So this is going to be based off of all the production. So the Chargers were number one, the top four. Chargers number one, the Bengals number two, right? Which is I think that's accurate. I think that's correct. The Bills number three. I have an issue with that, and the Chiefs number four. So the only positions that I see, maybe you can switch the Bills and the Chiefs around at 3 and 4, but this is pretty much correct. Coming into the 2022 season. Now, if this was based off of last season, or if there was a bunch of movement, obviously in free agency, and if some of those moves didn't happen, then obviously one that comes to mind would be Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, and Devontae Adams. But Devontae Adams is no longer in Green Bay, so you really can't put that there. What wide receiver are you going to put up there to replace Devontae Adams, right? The Packers don't know that yet. As of yet, at this moment, they don't know. The fans don't know. Nobody knows until you actually get out on the field. So this is obviously correct to me, and I'm sure it's correct to all the rest of the Charger fans out there. So again, and I've covered the stats and all this stuff in other videos. So again, Justin Herbert last season, 5,014 yards, 38 touchdowns, right? Statistically was number two behind Tom Brady, right? In pretty much every quarterback category. So he had one of the best statistical seasons of pretty much any quarterback ever, and it was the best statistical season for the Chargers in Chargers franchise history. So, and that spans across a lot of time, right? Several decades. This is not, it's nothing to spit at. This guy really put up some numbers, right? Austin Ekeler last year, 1,558 yards from scrimmage, right? So this, I'm counting this between his rushing yards and his receiving yards, right? Rushing yards, 911 rushing yards, 647 receiving yards, 20 total touchdowns. That is production, and that's production that no other running back really was able to match, right? From the rushing standpoint and the receiving standpoint, right? He caught 70 balls last year out of the backfield. There's not a lot of running backs who are going to give you that much production out of the backfield. So again, this is a poll based off of production and what these players are doing, how they are producing, right? How they're producing yards, touchdowns, all of this stuff. This is what they're taking into account. And then Keenan Allen last year, 106 receptions, 1,138 yards, and 6 touchdowns. So, this is accurate to me. And, there's an argument that can even be made, if you want to possibly take Keenan Allen out and replace him with Mike Williams, because Mike Williams had a similar type season last year, right? He was balling over 1,000 yards. I believe Mike Williams had like 9 or 10 touchdowns. So this is a productive trio, and this is clearly the most productive trio in the NFL, right? All of these other teams, they have great quarterbacks, right? You look at the Bengals, right? You look at Joe Burrow, everything he did, the Super Bowl run, everything. Jamar Chase, obviously a beast out there on the outside, and Joe Mixon, right? But Joe Mixon did not give the Bengals as much production as Austin Ekeler did, especially out of the backfield, right? This is just what it is. Like it is what it is. And then with the Bills and the Chiefs, both, like I said, you can flip these 3 or 4 or whatever, but the Bills and the Chiefs, right? You look at Mahomes. A lot of people have Mahomes better than Herbert. A lot of people have Justin Allen better than Herbert, right? And I'm not here to argue that. If you feel that way, then you feel that way, and it's not. I don't think that you're hating because both of these guys are ballers. But you look at the receivers, the Bills, Stephon Diggs, right? Obviously he's a baller, but the production at running back for the Bills is not there. It's kind of a running back by committee. Devin Singletary, I believe, is the guy who was, thought of when they were, taking these votes. But the Bills kind of do it, Devin Singletary, Zach Moss. They just drafted James Cook. So, they're kind of running back by committee. And then obviously the Chiefs are running back by committee as well, too. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he had a decent season. His season was actually not great last year. He did have a fumbling problem, and he was injured for some time. Jerick McKinnon stepped in. He played really well last year, but again, like the Chiefs are kind of doing this running back by committee thing, and I would expect more of that this season. Same with the Bills. It's running back by committee. These teams are obviously ran through their quarterbacks, right? And they've had a lot of success that way. But it's just you can't compare any of these teams' running back production to the production that Austin Ekeler gives you out of the backfield. And the whole argument for him, having too many carries and just too many touches in general, yes, it's there, and that's why the Chargers addressed that in the draft this year. But you cannot argue with his production, right? He put up numbers on the ground. He put up numbers through the air. He caught the ball. He scored a bunch of touchdowns. He was up there on people's fantasy list who play fantasy and all that stuff. The production is there. So I feel like this list is very, very accurate. Now, can there be another team this year who this is the preseason ranking, obviously, before the 2022 season starts. Is there another team that can come out here and, have a more productive trio? Possibly. That could possibly be there. The Raiders, they if they get things together offensively, they can be up here. I definitely believe they can be up here, right? I don't think they're as good as any of these 4 teams, but they can definitely make the list. There's a bunch of other teams that can make the list as well, too. But I think the thing that sets the Chargers apart is the production from Austin Ekeler. They are getting a lot of production from him, and there's a lot of teams that do the running back by committee thing, right? And it does seem to work. But, as far as rankings go, when it comes to stats and touchdowns and all that stuff, you cannot put you can't put the running back by committee running backs in with the Austin Ekelers. You can't put them in with the Derrick Henrys. You can't really put them in with the workhorses. So this is accurate to me. It's accurate. I don't see any issues with it. Like I said, people are going to have issues with it, but I mean, are you a hater or are you just a fan, who you don't care about the stats, you don't care about facts, with any of this other stuff? Are you just a hater? If that's the case, then that's fine. Just identify yourself as that. But this is accurate. And I'm not just saying this just because I'm a Charger fan, but this is an accurate list. CBS Sports got it right. And until the season starts and until they start playing ball for real, then we can talk and reevaluate this list. But as of right now, this is the correct list, and I see no issues with it. But that's all I got for this one, guys. Just wanted to point this out. Now, this was interesting. This is going to be a little tidbit of conversation, as training camp goes along, as it begins to start. What is it? We're 6 weeks away from training camp starts, so we'll see what happens going forward. But like I said, this list is accurate. It's correct for right now, and we'll see what happens going forward. But that's all I got for this video, guys. If you enjoyed this content, please give me a thumbs up on the way out. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. Hit that bell notification so YouTube can notify you anytime I drop a video. And that's all I got for this one, guys. Thank you guys so much for all the support, and I will see you next time.